What do you make of it, mate? How would you sum it up?
I felt that we didn't take opportunities when we needed to. Just spoke to the boys about possession and territory. Test matches are always won by kicking it down to the corner, keeping the opposition in the corner and making it difficult for them to come out of their end. And I thought that in the first half we just didn't do that well enough. So although we did a much better job in the second half, thought we put a lot of pressure on the opposition in the second half. But unfortunately, we just had a few plays off throughout a couple of sets when we were applying that pressure, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're loading up on the pressure and they're getting stuck in their end and there's an offload or something like that, and then they plough through your middle and you're back under pressure again. So, for us it's about learning lessons about controlling the momentum for longer, putting it deeper into the corner and being able to control the middle part of the sets.
The second half was a big improvement, would you say?
Oh, I didn't think the first half was too bad. I just felt in the first half like we gave 3 penalties away and resulted in 2 tries. And that's just not good enough at any level. Like if you're going to give penalties away, you've got to be able to defend those penalties. We had some disconnection in sections of our line. When we gave those penalties away, we gave I think it was the first or second try, there was a quick ruck. And it was the only quick ruck in the set, and then they score in the corner. So we need to be better at that. Like if we have a quick play the ball against us, we need to be better at connecting as a line, joining together, and being able to defend that.
There was some conversations out there with the ref about the ruck speed and the way it was enforced. There was some 6 agains as well, which sort of aided them a little bit. What did you make of that? Was that an interpretation difference from the NRL, or a number of blokes and tackles and stuff like that? Does that take a bit of getting used to?
No, I just think he refereed the game by the rules.
Okay. And that was just with Sean, they were talking about how that was maybe the first ever all-in scuffle in international rugby league history.
I don't know about that. If that was the first,
but all-in scuffle.
If that was the first all-in scuffle, or maybe all-in scuffle, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So,
yeah.
I know Tanya asked you on the field about the feeling in the game, and you weren't too expansive, but it came from somewhere. Obviously, before kickoff was very intense. It was great pictures for TV, and then there was some feeling that sort of lasted throughout the whole match.
Yeah, well, it's a test match. You're here to play a test match. Like, we've travelled a long way to play this game, so of course there's going to be feeling in the, England's playing for their country and we're playing for our country, so you expect there would be feeling in the game. And that feeling stays on the field. That's how it's always been in rugby league. You come together, you respect each other off the field. When you go on the field, you're going at it, and that's just how games should be played. And whether it's an all-in scuffle, as you say, or whatever it is, it's left out on the field, and then we move on and we start fresh again next week. You don't take anything from that game. That's just how it is. And I think that when that happens, there's levels of frustration in games from players, and that just happens in footy. It's not a big thing. I wouldn't say that there's anything that's gone into it from preparation or anything like that. There's just frustration, and there was frustration, I think, from both teams on a number of things tonight. So that is what it is.
Sean didn't think that his team's performance today would trouble Australia or New Zealand. What do you think of that? Do you think they're a team that could threaten Australia in a national series next year? What do you think?
I think they were very strong. I thought that they carried really well through the middle of the field, and as I already said, their tries come off opportunities, and they built quick ruck speed for it might have been one ruck in the set, and they had really good support around the ball and really good effort around the ball, and they got a couple of tries off offloads. That says that that's a side that's working hard for each other, and I thought that they did that tonight. I thought they played really well. I can't compare them to Australia and New Zealand. I was worried about our test match today. I wasn't worried about what Australia and New Zealand were doing.
And level of confidence going into the second test based on what you saw?
Sorry, Steve, I couldn't hear you.
Your level of confidence going into next week based on what you saw?
Yeah, I don't think anything changes for us. I think that if we can get the start of the game right, and we can get our discipline right at the start of the game, I think that we showed as the game went along that we can match it with any team. We just need to make sure that we get our stuff right, and I think that going into the next game, that's again what we'll focus on, which is what we did all week. I think in any test match, there's going to be ups and downs. We just need to be better at dealing with those ups and downs.
Any injuries?
No, not that I know
A
of.
couple of guys
No.
past HIAs.
Yeah, there's a couple of like knocks, but that's part of physical football. And as you said, it was tough and rough. So you're going to have a few things like that. But they're good. They passed, and hopefully they're good to go for next week.
Will you make many changes in terms of preparation going into the second game?
No.
How far off playing was Keenan last year?
Yeah, he was really close. Yeah, it was. Sorry, I'll just come back to you. I wasn't being rude.
No,
I think that you might have thought that I was being by your reaction, but no, I wasn't. You asked me a direct question, and it wasn't an open question, so I just gave you a short answer. But I'm happy to go into that more if you want to ask some more questions. Keenan was very close to playing. Probably just came down to himself and Lazarus. Lazarus had just played footy more recently. Obviously, he played in the grand final, and Keenan hadn't played for a period of time prior to that, so I don't think he'd played for sort of 4 weeks prior to that. So it was nothing to do with Keenan or his training or anything like that. We just went for a guy that had played more recently, and I think we needed that. I think we needed guys that had played footy recently just for the match fitness more than anything.
At 16-0, it looked like it could have been like the first game against England in the World Cup. Were you satisfied with the way that you hit back and were in it until probably 10 minutes from time?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. At 16-0, I sort of I didn't. Obviously, they scored the points and all of that sort of stuff, but I didn't think that we were doing a heap wrong. I thought that we were doing a lot of really good things, and I sort of already spoke about that. With Steve's questions around, I just felt that we were losing one ruck here or there. And as I said, with one of those tries, we won the whole set with all of the rucks, and it came down to the last play. We didn't control it, and they moved the ball and they score. So I think that if we can really nail those moments down next week, we're in a better position to be able to control the start of the game. But to answer your question, after that, I thought we did pretty well. I thought the start of the second half was a real indication of what we're capable of. I think for a 10-minute period there, the ball went back and forth. We had a number of guys, on both sides, sort of leaning over on their knees, feeling the pressure of the game, and that's the type of game that we want to play. But again, there was a moment there that we didn't quite control, and they were able to score, and it took all of the pressure off again. So we want to be able to maintain that pressure throughout those moments.
You're fortunate enough to get to see Jerome Luai play every day. We get to see him once a year.
Yeah.
How important is he to the team? Because he was outstanding again today.
Yeah, he's really important. And it's not just his importance in terms of playing, it's his leadership, and I spoke about that a few times this week, his general leadership and the way that he's sort of taken the camp by the scruff of the neck, and he's bought into everything that we're doing. A player of his quality and of his elite standard in the game, when he comes into the camp and does that, other blokes follow. And then you take that out onto the training paddock, it's a similar circumstance. He's we call him the chief energy officer. I think you might have heard that before. But he's a guy that brings great energy to training. But now he's sort of supplemented that with really good leadership and really good understanding of what's required to be at your best. And I think he's led that really well in the camp. And then he brings that into the game tonight. He wants to be a lead halfback, and I thought he did that really well tonight. I thought he kicked well. He probably could have kicked his first few kicks a little bit deeper, which he would acknowledge. But after that point, he was able to sort of get into the game, kick his kicks deeper. He found his running game. He was able to connect with Roger on the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side. So I think that's a good sign for us as a team. Obviously, you look at the English spine, they've played together a number of times. Our guys are playing together for the first time, so I think that will be better for that hit out.
You had 7 debutants as well, half of the team. So to come up with come up with a performance as cohesive as that, as the game wore on, again, that must be something that is quite encouraging for you.
Yeah, it is. It's really encouraging, and it takes clubs 3 months to get that right, and we had 6 days. So for them to be able to connect so quickly, I think that that was a good indication of. The preparation that we put in through training was good preparation, and to come back to your question, mate. Sorry, to come back to your question, to combine in with that, I think what we've done throughout the week is really good and has prepared us to perform well in the game. There was just some things within the game that we didn't quite get right, and if we can prepare as well as what we did again for next week, and we bring together that cohesiveness and I suppose that connection, I think it puts us in a position to perform well again next week.
Just the last question from me. Normally tours are 3 games, you've only got 2. Now that you've got the team in camp and you're talking about it takes time to get that cohesion, would you have liked a 3rd test?
No, we wanted to play 2 tests, and it's got nothing to do with the, best of 3 or anything like that. It's to do with the well-being of our players, and they've had a large year and a long year, and I know that fans and everything want to see 3 games, and I understand that because I'm a rugby league fan too, believe it or not. But I think it's important that we take care of their welfare, and they have travelled all the way over here to the other side of the world to play test matches, to put a test match series on, and from a coach's point of view, I've got to respect that, and I've got to respect the fact that we need to care for them and make sure that they can go back to their families and be ready to perform in 2025 as well. Otherwise, what ends up happening is we have 3 test matches this year and we might not have any next year. So I think it's good to get a balance and make sure that when test match footy's on, it's good test match footy, and I thought that it was that tonight.
Thanks, everyone. Everyone's all right? Yeah, no injuries.
Nah, sorry, mate.
It's a terrible question.
You want something to read in your